What's good? What's good? What's good, everybody? My name is Usica.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Beast.
Welcome back to the Necked Out Podcast.
You heard?
We are here. It is towards the tail end of summer. We're getting close to fall. I think fall starts actually kind of soon, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah, I think it starts towards the end of, I think, August? Or no, I'm sorry. Like early September. So, fucking summer has come. It's fucking come and gone like that, bro. But
that's crazy.
we're here. We are full of health and love, and that's all that matters. And a little sleep deprived, bro. I'm at this fucking crossroads right now.
Oh dang. Okay.
And this is not pertaining to anything drastic. And obviously, it has to do with cats.
Ooh.
So the cats that we were fostering. I'm sorry if everyone's tired of hearing about cats, but I'm not, so I don't care. Damn. But so we're at a crossroads because we had originally 5 cats that we were fostering.
Yeah. 3
of them gone. They're adopted.
Who?
The black one, the fluffy one,
Almost?
the one that was sitting. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, almost.
Wow.
She was adopted, and the 2 gray ones.
No way. Both of them.
Both of them.
Wow.
But all 3 of them went to separate households.
Okay, so now you just have.
So now we have 2.
Tiger
And Gremlin, aka Grammys. And so yesterday, so Tiger is gonna still stay with us for, I think, at least another month.
Yeah.
Because my girlfriend is giving her medication because she has some type of like cancer, not cancer, like some kind of cat. Oh, it's like the cat version of coronavirus, essentially.
Oh,
so
really?
she's taking medication, and she's actually giving her, I think, the remdesivir thing, some shit like that, or whatever, one of those things. So Tiger's still gonna be with us.
I like her.
She's cool, but she's
a bit weird.
She's a bully.
She's weird too.
Yeah, she's a little off, but she's kind of a bully. And so Gremlin had a virtual meet and greet with a potential adopted yesterday.
Way.
Yeah, because of COVID, and so obviously Gremlin is not at the rescue, so they can't just come in and say hi.
Yeah.
So they have to do it virtually. And so the potential adopters, they really liked her, but the problem was that their other cat is kind of like Tiger, and Tiger is a bully. So Tiger she likes to play a little rough, and Gremlin doesn't like that. So Gremlin actually gets scared of Tiger.
Yeah.
So my girlfriend was like, you know what? I don't think this is the right cat for you, because you want a cat that's going to be just as playful as the other one, and Gremlin is not like that. And so we came to the dilemma crossroad because we both really like her.
Yeah.
So we were like, do we keep her? Blah, blah, blah. But she was like, honestly, I love cats. So whatever cat that I like, I'm going to want to keep.
Yeah.
So it's really up to you if you want to keep her. And I was like, why do you have to put it on me?
Wait, where's Sophia?
Sophia's at the house. She's still there.
I don't think I saw her last time I went.
No, she hides. That's why. She just stays. When she knows that there are people at the house, she just stays in the room.
Where was she when I was there? I was so distracted by the other cats that I forgot.
Twice.
Yeah, the last time.
She just stays in the room.
Wow.
Just on the bed.
Yeah, I didn't
on the
see
bed
her.
or under the bed. And so, yeah, so we were we were in that dilemma. And
how is she doing with all of this?
She has gotten better. At first, I mean, even now, if they get too close to her, she starts hissing. So she hits them with the.
You think she'll smack the shit out of Tiger?
She has.
She has?
Yeah, but she doesn't do it with like the claws out. She just does a little like
back
pat,
up?
like the.
Back up.
Yeah. And so that was going on, and then what was I saying? Oh yeah, so the thing with Gremlin is we don't know if we're gonna keep her. Mainly, it's me because I want a cat.
Yeah.
But I want it to be my cat.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like Gremlin is. She's a very nice cat. She's very loving to me and to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
Because Sophia, which is our OG cat, is my girlfriend's cat. Yeah. She's grown up with her, so they obviously are connected at the hip.
Yeah.
But I don't have one, and so I'm just like, am I doing this just for the sake of getting a cat, or do I really love her? Like, will I be extremely bummed out if she gets adopted?
Yeah.
And I was like, not really. So I kind of came to the conclusion to wait it out and just see if somebody else comes along and steals my
Yeah.
heart. So that's a little update there.
Wait, so you are open to getting another cat for the house?
I am open to getting
a
another
resident
cat.
a resident cat.
Like no longer a tenant.
Yeah.
Like this is a person who is staying there.
That's cool.
You know, but we'll see what happens.
Do you think you're also looking out for how well your cat does with Sophie? Like
that is the main priority that I have.
Yeah.
With any cat that comes in, they have to be beta. They can't be an alpha because Sophia is already the alpha of the house. And when two alphas are in the same place, it's not gonna
That's
work.
what happened to my fucking fish.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Peligrosa was the alpha, and anytime I would bring anyone in, she was always like fucking them up. So you could only bring in like those communal fishes that just swim together and stay away from her.
Yeah.
They know her boundaries and they just stay the fuck away. But then you have other ones that would come in and try to like take over her spot, and she would lose her shit. She would lose her shit.
She's like, nah!
She would fuck them up.
Really?
She'd go around pecking them, and she'd swim super fast, charging at them super fast sometimes, all aggressive like.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, bro. She was crazy.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's
rest
the
in
whole,
peace. Yeah.
Oh, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Peligrosa. Yeah.
But anyway, so that's my whole like debacle going on right now. But everything is kind of going back to normal in a sense.
For the life update, you're at a crossroads with
with a cat.
With a cat.
Essentially, I'm trying to decide whether or not to keep her. But that's a good problem to have, I guess. But anyway, so I want to talk about you. Like, what? How have you been? Like, obviously, we have a topic, but like, catch us up. Catch us up. What you been up to?
Been chilling. A lot of transitions happening right now. So we're recording in my new spot where I'm at now. Hey, let's go. Let's go. Yeah. It's nice. It's nice.
Chill. It's good. It's good.
It's chill. Like I was mentioning.
Now you're living here by yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're solo.
Yeah, Han Solo. I don't even know why I said that, but yeah. I'm just soloing it. It still doesn't feel like home. Like I was mentioning, some of the things that I want to get for the spot to make it feel like at home, comfy.
Yeah.
That's that place of rest, peace, and chill. Right now, it's still all new. On top of like transitioning out of a job that I was in for 5 years, which is fucking amazing to be honest, bro. Yeah. Like just thinking about like the stress. Like I feel like I'm going into definitely more stressful job, but in a different way.
Yeah.
This one was like stress within like my energy as far as like having to shut the fuck up.
Like unnecessary stress, maybe?
Yeah, I feel like anyone who's worked retail, any type of customer service, anything like even like in the food industry or retail, or just even owning a business, you know what it is to have to deal with customers and their bullshit. And I feel like a lot of us don't understand and think that because they're an employee, you can say and do whatever you want to them because at the end of the day, you're there spending money. And we get that all the time. The worst customers were the ones that would say, listen, Brian, I've been here for 10 years. I've spent tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of dollars at your store. So I am a priority. You have to take care of me. It's like, bruh. But yeah, so dealing with stuff like that was like a different type of energy. Yeah. I'm not physically drained. The job is easy. I don't do it. You don't sweat. Like, But mentally, and your energy gets drained sometimes from dealing like back to back. You don't just deal with one Karen a day. Like my like on average, you're dealing with like 10 to 5 Karens daily, average. Like it's a normal day to have 10. It's a normal day to have like 5 is kind of like, oh shit, I had a good day. Yeah. 10 of them is like your normal.
Like 5 is the bare, like, oh yeah, it was a good day at work today.
And then there's like anomalies where nothing fucking happened, where you literally clocked in, you clocked out, and you're like, okay, hold on now. Might go to Chipotle today after
feeling
this.
good.
Feeling good.
This is a rare day.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm transitioning to a more physically stressful job, but I feel that it has its benefits. Number one, I'm going to be more physically active.
Yeah.
So that's a plus. I'm going to be outdoors. That's a plus.
That's great. Get your vitamin D.
Getting that sunlight getting that outdoors life, that walking, all that stuff. And then also opportunities to like either like listen to music or podcasts while I'm doing my job. Yeah. So I'm excited for it, bro.
That's dope, man. I'm happy for you, bro, because I know that when we were living together and you come back. That's the one thing I'm gonna miss, though. Well, this one might give you different stories as well, but that's the one thing you always came home with, bruh. This one customer, oh my,
Yeah, bro.
But that's dope, dog. I'm glad that you're transitioning into
update for your boy.
Yeah, that's with it. So let's talk about. Well, we have a topic. I have a topic, and you obviously don't know what it is because I like to just surprise you with things.
And I like to come in like fresh, just so.
Beast is the kind of person that doesn't need to prepare unless it's something like very, very intense that I feel like he should be prepped for. I don't tell. I think we've gotten into this rhythm where it's like. You ask me, do you have a topic? And I go, yeah. And you go, all right, that's it. Don't tell me about it. Just lay it out. I think it's only
with guests that we both like prepare for.
Yeah.
But even then, it's very light preparation because I always like to go fresh. You get the fresh reaction.
Yeah. And then most of the time, honestly, sometimes we don't even stay on course. Like with the guests, we'll start somewhere and we'll end up somewhere completely different. So it's almost like no point in doing all this preparation in a sense. But so today's topic, which you are finding out just as the listeners are.
Let's do this.
We're talking about identity.
Ooh.
Now, there's a reason why we're talking about identity, and it has to do with my trip to Phoenix.
Oh, shit. Okay.
So I'll catch you up. Okay, I'll catch everybody up as well, because I did post on social media that our flight I got canceled, so we got abandoned.
Your flight got canceled.
So this is going to be a pretty much... Half of this podcast will be Usica centered, as in like what the fuck happened, and then the other half will be identity.
Okay. Stuff. Well, I guess like I'm gonna just ask like, so what's the reason of like going on this trip? What was going on?
So we went to this trip because my girlfriend is, and if you guys listen to the previous episode, my girlfriend received a promotion. I think you've known this already. She received a promotion at work, and the person ahead of her, which was gonna be her former boss. Was like, hey, I'm leaving soon, so take your vacation days before I leave, because once I leave, you're in charge, and you won't be able to take vacation for a while. So her job gives her like 10 or 15 vacation days a year. Yeah. Right? But if she doesn't use them, it depends. It's tricky. Like they roll over, but not all the way.
Yeah.
So there's like a threshold. Like you can't have more than like 20 vacation days a year.
Yeah.
And so she's like, hey, take your vacation days while I'm still here. Jesus, I'm sorry. That fucking sparkling water got to me. But so she goes, well, hey, you're...
Sparkling water.
This
man's drinking on the job.
Verga, this man's bringing a Modelo. Modelo's in the bag. But. So she wanted to take her vacation before she left, and also towards the end of the month of August.
Yeah.
She has some cat sitting to do. But also in the end of August is my birthday. It's my birthday. So do a little. You know, your boy's going to be 1 year from being 30.
Wow, you're going to be 30?
No, that's not how math works. I literally told you I'm 1 year from being 30. And he said, you're going to be 30. This man, dumbass, bro.
29 is crazy.
You sure you leave that job, bro?
For real.
Maybe you should stay.
That's probably why I was able to handle it.
For real. And so,
because like when people were hitting me with bullshit, I was just thinking like of SpongeBob or some shit. Some fucking...
You can't do this at a new job.
Oh, hell no. I have to be low key. I have to be on it.
You got to be on it. Yeah.
And so it's definitely a pleasure trip.
Yeah, it's a trip to have fun, to see something new.
So birthday, new promotion.
Birthday. Yeah. So we're like, you know what? Let's just combine two things at once. Well, it was predominantly for my birthday, but she took it this early into the month because of the promotion, right? So she's like, let's just do it this time. And I was like, okay, fine, cool, let's do it. So we did it. We were there for 4 days. The reason why we chose Phoenix was because I honestly didn't want to travel far, because when you travel like 6-7 hours to somewhere else, you essentially lose half the day just traveling and then getting to your hotel or wherever you're staying at, and then getting situated. It takes pretty much half the day. So Phoenix is about an hour and a half flight.
No way. That's
super fast.
Cake, bro.
Super fast, bro. You could take a 20-minute nap, 30-minute nap, and then you're there by the time you wake up. Right, so we thought, okay, and it's a little bit more feasible. We also didn't want to spend a shit ton of money as well. So We go there. We go on a Thursday. It's cool. It's extremely fucking hot. It is Satan's balls hot.
Yeah?
I'm talking
Like what is it though?
I'm talking like over 100 every day we're there.
Yeah, but like, is it like sticky?
It's humid.
It's humid.
It's
over
hot
100.
and humid. There was we.
That's kind of. Is it worse than Solvi?
It's slightly worse
because like Solvi is humid. Like it's humidity. Is what does it for me. Yeah. The heat isn't really. It's the humidity.
It's humid as fuck, bro. Damn. You would not like it there. No. At least not in the weather that we went. So on top of that, it was monsoon season, or we got monsoon weather. So monsoon weather is basically like extreme thunderstorms, rainstorms, and dust. And it's all combined.
Wow.
And so when we rented our car, because we rented a car when we went out there, they were like, oh, hey, just so you know, because it is Phoenix and we get monsoons here, if there just so happens to be like, if the car is covered in a shit ton of dust, we're sorry. Like just giving you a heads up because it happens there. It happens there often.
Our bad. Yeah.
It's just it's not nothing we can do. And we're like, fine, that's fine. And so we stayed there from Thursday to Sunday. We went to a couple of museums.
Wait, before we get there,
okay.
Tell me about the delay. Did the delay happen?
The delay happened at the end of the trip.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So you guys took a plane over there, an hour and a half, boom, arrived. You stayed at a hotel or Airbnb?
We stayed at Airbnb, which was trash.
Trash
because it was nice.
Yeah.
But they didn't have like the basics. Like they didn't have a fire extinguisher. They only had like one roll of toilet paper.
What?
When it started raining, there was literally water coming through the ceiling. Wow. Like there was a puddle of water in the fucking house.
Wow.
So it was
crazy.
Yeah, you could tell they didn't really maintain it too much. So we weren't that happy about it, but whatever. It's fine. We had a roof over our head, whatever. So we go there. That's on Thursday. On Thursday, we just get situated. We just hang out, and I think we go out to eat somewhere.
Yeah.
Can't remember. Friday, we go to this place called the Butterfly Museum, and it's dope. Like, it's a bunch of butterflies just flying around everywhere freely.
What?
So you're basically in this like enclosed. It's almost like a greenhouse.
Okay.
So and there are trees everywhere, but because butterflies only do well in certain temperatures, it's also humid in there. Wow. So I'm like, fuck.
But are they nice? Like were they?
Yeah, they're just flying around. They're very. Like, they don't.
How many?
I would say upwards of thousands.
Wow.
They're just everywhere. Like you cannot walk somewhere and not see a butterfly flying around.
Do they land on you? Or?
They didn't land on me. They did say that sometimes they do, but if they do, to not touch them. Like don't handle them. And be careful where you step because sometimes they land on the floor and you don't want to kill them.
You don't want to step on one. Damn.
And so that was cool. That was interesting. And then we went to this place called the Musical Instruments Museum, which I have a shirt of. I don't think people could see it, but it was really cool.
Yeah.
It was very overwhelming because it seemed like they had, I would say, close to like 10,000 different musical instruments from all over the fucking country. And so it was basically just like regions from Asia, Australia, South America, Africa, North America, Europe, all these different places. So that was cool, but I felt like it was too overwhelming. It was too much because you can't fully appreciate all of it, But it was still fun. So we went there, and then
that's dope.
And then the last thing that we went to, actually right before we left to the airport, was this place called the Heard Museum. Now, I will come back to the Heard Museum. I'll explain.
Hurt or Heard?
The Heard. H-E-A-R-D. Heard. Like I heard you say blah, blah, blah. So the Heard Museum. And I'll come back to that in later. So we leave the museum, go to the airport, and luckily there's a shuttle at the place where we are dropping off the rental car.
Oh, okay.
Right? So in our flight, this is Sunday.
Did you plan for that?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So it was already like paid for. They're like, hey, just leave it there, leave the keys there, and the shuttle will take you to the airport. And I'm like, perfect. So we leave the car. Our flight is leaving out of Phoenix to Burbank. We didn't fly out of LAX. We flew out of Burbank. Mm-hmm. And so our flight is supposed to leave at 6:40, around 6:40. And so we we're going to the airport, or I think it's a little bit before. And I get a text message from the airline. They go, hey, your flight got delayed. So now you're leaving at 8 something. And I'm like, okay, bummer, whatever. We'll just hang out at the airport. It'll be fine. So like 7:12, 7:15 rolls around. And then I get another message. I get an email actually. Ooh. And they say, hey, sorry, but your flight got canceled.
Wow.
And I go, what? Your flight got canceled. Call if you want a refund or if you want to rebook. I'm like, well, let's try to rebook. Yeah. I call the customer service place. They're like, hey, yeah, we can rebook you in 2 days.
What?
I was like, man, you must be confused. Yeah. You don't know who the fuck I am. I'm just kidding. I didn't do that. But I did say, that's not going to work. So I'm going to take that refund. Yeah, so they gave us a refund. Because I had to be at work the next day.
Oh, shit.
I had to open the next day, which was my mistake. Next time, I'm going to have a spare day of travel, right? And so me and my girl are like, okay, we got to figure it out. So we're looking for flights. There's like nothing under $300 to get to LA. Like the next flight leaves at 9 and it's at least like $350 or something like that. Mm-hmm. So I go, I'm not paying $350 to go go home right now, right? I'll figure something else out. So we're like, well, what if my girlfriend says, what if we rent a car and just drive it to LA and leave it at at a Hertz or an Enterprise? Yeah. And so I'm like, you know what? Let's try that. So I call an Enterprise. That's like the only thing that's open at that time. Because mind you, it's Sunday. It's like almost 8 p.m. Most of these places are closed. So I call them and they go, hey, yeah, because of the pandemic, we need you to bring the car back here so we can rent it out to you, but you can't. If you're gonna drive wherever you're gonna drive to, regardless of where you drive to, you have to bring it back and drop it off. That's really hard. So I'm like, okay, so I guess that's not happening. Yeah. So then I start thinking, you know what? What if we just stay overnight and then just catch a flight back home in the morning or tomorrow? And then I don't know if it was her.
Were the flights cheaper in the morning?
Slightly, but still, like, we still just, it was just money that we didn't want to spend, you know? So we come to the conclusion, we're like, well, let's hit up the Greyhound bus. And boy, was that the biggest mistake we ever made, bro. So we booked the ticket. We booked the tickets to the Greyhound bus.
How much was that?
It was like $140 for both of us. Okay. Which was fine because the bus was leaving at like 10:20.
And how long was that going to take?
It was a 6-hour bus drive, which is not terrible. It's fine,
It's doable,
But for $150 for last minute, we're like, this is as good as it's going to get, right? Yeah. So we're like, okay, it's going to leave at 10:20. Let's catch an Uber because it was kind of a walk to the fucking place. And so we're walking. I'm sorry, when we're driving, the Uber takes us there and he leaves us, and then like 10 minutes after we get there, rainstorms. Fucking windy, thunder, rain. It's all this. Like it's just again, bro. I'm telling you, we're in a fucking an area that is very susceptible to flash floods as well. Like we got warnings on our phone. Hey, don't leave the area if you don't have to, because there's a flash flood warning. Wow. So it was crazy. So we get there, we check in, and then I look at the waiting area. There's at least 5 crackheads.
No
just
way.
Hanging out, like tweaking.
What?
And I go, oh my God. Are we really about to do this? But it was like 9:30, so we're like, just be here for an hour. Yeah. And you'll get, maybe they're just hanging out. Maybe they're not even going to get on the bus. Yeah. Just fucking grind it out.
There's no way they got on the bus.
So all of them get on the bus.
Shut the fuck up, bro.
All of them got on the bus, bro. I was like, oh, shit.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm like, no. So hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. So our bus is supposed to leave at 10:20, right? So
motherfucker arrives at 11:20, like my bizzle.
Then it says,
a little late, player.
It says, hey, your bus is still in Tucson. Tucson is an hour and a half away.
At 10:20?
At 10.
Oh, at 10.
We're almost getting ready to line up.
An hour, yeah.
So we're like, okay, that's great. That's great.
All right.
So the bus, we have no choice. We have to wait.
You're in it now.
We have to wait it out. So the bus ends up getting there. They said it was supposed to get there at closer to 11:30, 11:40. It gets there at midnight. So we're waiting there.
It arrives at midnight.
It arrives at midnight.
So it's not even ready to board.
No, we have to wait another 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The worst part is that bus was carrying other passengers. So the passengers from that bus went into our bus. So I guess that bus was making it was a stop. It was a stop on the way to LA. And I think that bus was coming from Texas.
So some people
they're already going into the next bus, right? So I'm like, fuck. So whatever. At least the bus is there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And so we're going.
That's true. That's actually a perfect fucking way to see it. At least the fucking bus is here.
That's like
it's here now.
That's the bare minimum.
Yeah,
you know, like there. And so it gets there. We board, and
we just tell the crackheads, "Hey man, hurry the fuck up."
I'm like,
y'all coming too?
Finish your crack. And let's get on this fucking bus.
Was it a for sure that they're crackheads, or were you mad judging?
There were some that were like just tweaking, and there were some that I was like,
there was like
you
tweaking?
look like a crackhead. Yeah, there was this one guy that was just like,
how the fuck did he make enough money to get on the fucking bus?
Bro, that is the fucking $1 million question. And I kind of don't want to know, to be honest.
Yeah.
So we get on the bus, and then luckily it's like 2-seaters, so you don't have to share seats with anybody. So it's just me and my girl, and she takes the window,
obviously,
window seat. And I take the aisle, and I'm sitting closer to the front. So one of those fucking crackheads gets on the bus, and we're leaving. This, and I mean this with all the respect in the world. And ladies, I am 100% not trying to be judgmental here, and you will have to excuse my language. She starts smoking a cigarette in the bus. There is a baby on the bus. There is a baby like 5 seats behind me, and she's lighting up a cigarette.
What?
And she's sitting diagonally away from me.
Yeah.
So not the seat that's next to me, the one in front of that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, you've got to be and we're an hour into the trip.
And do we not know that there's not supposed to be no smoke?
There's no smoking allowed on any of these Greyhound buses.
Of course.
The bus driver, he's a little bitch.
He doesn't say shit?
He says, he gets on the speaker and he goes, no smoking. That's all he says. So she stops smoking, but obviously she's going to start again. So throughout the trip, she smokes like 5 different times. So the first time she lights it up, she smokes, and she's just there casually smoking. Just and the smoke is coming out, and it's coming towards me. And everybody on the bus is like... Everybody on the bus could smell it. Yeah. And so I was like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? So she's smoking, and then the first time the bus driver says, hey, no smoking, and she stops, right?
Yeah.
An hour later, she thinks she's sneaky for some reason. She gets a cigarette and she goes, takes one puff and then puts it out. I'm like, you really think nobody hears and doesn't know what you're fucking doing?
It's like basically silent.
It's
midnight.
Pretty much dead silent. It's midnight. People are trying to sleep. And so she does this several times. The other thing too is she is sitting next to an older woman, and an older woman's trying to sleep. She has her blanket, so she's like coddled up like this, right? She's just coddled up, trying to get some rest. And this woman starts lashing out at her, the crackhead. She looks over at her and she goes, get up. You're in my seat. Get up. You're in my seat. Get up now. And she's talking to her like this, bro. And I'm like,
was she in her seat?
She was in her seat. I mean, I couldn't really tell much, but it looked like maybe she was a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't think she meant it to be like, I'm going to take up your entire seat.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh my God, please do not swing at this lady.
Yeah.
I was so scared that she was going to swing at her. So she keeps going. And this goes on for at least 5 minutes, going back and forth. And then eventually the old lady, she gets up and she walks over, right? And guys, I don't want you guys to judge me because, Usica, why didn't you do anything? But this is a crackhead that we're talking about. Like, there's clearly the bus driver. He can hear all of this.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. Nobody else on the bus cares. And I know that's even more of a reason for me to get involved. But at the same time, I don't know what this person has. And I don't want to put myself in that situation where she gets aggressive and now the whole bus has to and it was just bad, right?
Yeah.
There was no win-win in this at all. So the old lady gets up, she goes to the front seat, like the very front, and she's trying to put the seat down, but they tie it with the seatbelt because it's supposed to be for handicapped people.
Yeah.
And so the crackhead is laughing at her. She's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. She can't put the seat down. And I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding me, bro. And then so my girl's like, hey, can you go help her? And I'm like, yeah, of course. So I go and I help the old lady. I'm like, hey, let me pull apart the thing. So I put the seat down. She sits down, and then that's it. That's the end of that altercation, right? Meanwhile, in the back, let me retract a little bit. At the Greyhound bus, when we were in the waiting area, there was this bigger, older guy, right? And he gets there, and they also tell him, hey, your bus. He comes on our bus, right? They're like, hey, your bus ride is delayed. So he's like, all right, whatever. So he sits down, and so everyone's just in the waiting area, and it's quiet. You could just hear the TVs. And then out of nowhere, you just hear...
Oh, shit.
Snore, dog. Snore, snore, snore. He's loud as fuck. So guess what happens in the bus when he falls asleep?
He's fucking snoring.
He's snoring, bro. And then the guy behind him, he goes... Hey, man, shut the fuck up, man. I'm trying to sleep, dog. And then the guy who was snoring was like, hey, man, fuck you, man. I'm trying to sleep too, man. I'm sorry, but... And they're arguing back and forth. They start arguing with each other. They start arguing with each other.
Oh, my God.
So this goes on for another, 5 minutes. And I'm just like, oh, my God, these guys are going to swing on each other. Yeah. I already fucking know it. But then luckily, nothing happens, right? Okay, now let's go back to the crackhead. At this point, we're 3 hours into the trip. We're halfway there. She starts puffing again.
Gosh.
Oh, I'm sick of it. She goes and she starts getting up. She starts moving. She's very fidgety. She can't move because she's a crackhead. Mm-hmm. You know, she just can't stay still. So she gets up and then she goes to the bus driver, to the back seat of the bus driver. She's like, "Hey, pull over. I want to smoke. I want to smoke. Hey, are you stupid?" And she calls him, and again, I apologize for my language, but she calls him, "Are you fucking retarded? I need to pull over and smoke." And so she has a very aggressive tone to her.
She should have just left it there, bro.
Bro, I swear, my girl was like,
let her out, and
can we just leave her?
Yeah.
But no, the guy never pulled over, and so she, and towards the end of the bus ride too, she goes, "Hey,"
he was just like,
"If you don't pull over, I need
no smoking."
Sit down, please. He was a Hispanic dude.
Yeah.
And so, towards the end, she's like, "Hey, I gotta take a piss. If you don't pull over, I'm gonna pull my pants down and I'm gonna piss right here on this bus."
Yeah.
And so I guess he's like, he knows that she's bullshitting because thankfully she didn't do it. But I was so
he
fucking
was
scared.
ready to call her bluff.
He did it. He called her, but he didn't pull over at all. He's like, "I don't give a fuck if you piss on this bus. I'm out of here once I get to LA."
Greyhound, what is going on, bro?
I should have left him a review.
Nah, bro, you got. Hey, anyone who's listening, bro, don't ever fucking take a Greyhound.
Yeah, or at least not at night, bro. Take it during the day when the crackheads are.
No, after this story, bro, I'm straight. I'm straight.
It was terrible.
I'm straight, bro.
So when she says that, I have my backpack on the floor, and I'm like, "Is she serious?" So I grab my backpack and I lift it up and I just put it on my lap, and I'm sitting like this for the rest of the ride. I'm like, just in case she fucking just whips it out, bro, and starts pissing all over the floor, you know. So we get to LA.
And here, let me jump in real quick.
Go ahead.
It is the hardest thing to deal with people that are on drugs.
Yeah.
Number one, think about dealing with someone when you're on drugs and you are the authority, like the bus driver.
Yeah.
So when you're a manager and fucking you get crack fiends that come into the fucking place, disturbing the peace, stealing, all these things.
Yeah.
You're the one that has to deal with it.
Yeah.
And you think there's somebody that could handle this. You could call the police and they'll come and pick it up. No, bullshit. They don't come.
They don't go.
They're not going to come. They'll show up. You call at 7 a.m. Hey, I need you to take this guy out. They're showing up at 7 p.m. talking about where's this guy at. Mm-hmm. And you're like, suck on these nuts, you motherfucker. Fuck you, dog. I already took him the fuck out myself. You dumb piece of
your
shit.
Job, bro.
Bro, I've done that before where I told some dude, the last time some crackhead came in, I was like, I knew him by his name. Mm-hmm. So I was like, "Matt, listen to me, bro. If you take one more step closer to me, I'm going to swing on your ass."
Oh, shit.
Because you're getting way too close and you're not fucking listening. Normally, I tell him to get the fuck out. We're cool. He bounces. This time, he was way too cracked out. And I told him, I was like, "Bro, if you fucking come close to me again, one more fucking time, I'm swinging on your bitch ass. Wow. And we can handle this shit right now." And then the other associate that was with me was like, he was hoping. Oh. He was like, run that shit. Like literally, he was like,
I'm trying to see this shit.
He was just
go
like,
down,
just do it. Just do it.
Oh my God.
And then finally we get this dude out because he was like, all right, fuck it. If Brian's not gonna fuck him up, I'm gonna fuck him up. And he told him, hey, I'm not fucking around. I'm gonna shove you into that corner and beat your ass till you're fucking stupid.
Oh my gosh.
So you're getting the fuck out, or I'm gonna grab you and take you the fuck out. And then he started to blab some other bullshit and he grabbed him and fucking took him out.
Oh my God.
And yeah, it's like they do, like, you're not speaking to a normal human who like understands logic, who understands, like, it's not someone who's being violated of their rights and can't be there. You know, it's like you're dealing with someone who's like doing drugs, doesn't understand, doesn't comprehend. I'm pretty sure doesn't even think it's reality.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Their head is in a completely different world.
How do you deal with someone like that? Like, if it was someone who's not a crackhead and they're lighting up, you know, it's kind of like, hey, come on, bro. Like, we're not supposed to be lighting up right now. Like, we're in the fucking thing. There's a baby, like, right there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know?
Like, it's...
Like, maybe he or she is legitimately unaware and they go, oh, my bad.
Yeah.
And they put it out
shit
and
like that.
Cool, it's done.
But, like, with a crack fiend, anything like that, like, it's completely different. And what's worse is when you get stuck into their blabbing shit.
Yeah.
Because that's what mostly happens with these cracks. And you ask them some shit and then they'll start talking about, well, I spoke to Jerry and Jerry told me that, I could be here all the time and I don't know what, and I don't know what's your problem, blah, blah. Like, bro.
They go off.
I've had crack fiends come up ready to fight me on site.
Fuck.
Ready to fight me on site. Fuck. And sometimes, like, at that point, once I learned, like, one time this guy came hell of aggressive, I was like, bro, just call the cops. Cops fucking showed up the next day and shit.
The next day?
Yeah, bro. Like, they were hitting me up like at 9 p.m. I was home already. I was like, man, shut the fuck up, bro.
So
like,
where's the crackhead in the
We're
store?
here now. I was like, suck my dick.
I needed you
like,
12
shut
hours
the fuck up. Like, fucking stupid ass. So then I was like, next time, I ain't calling the cops.
Yeah, you
I'm fucking handling my shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking knock this fool out. So that's what happened. Next time he came in, he was ready to go, and I was ready to go. I was like, bro, this is happening right here. He was like, come outside. I was like, fuck coming outside. This shit is handling here, homie. Run that shit. And then once he sees, bro, it's a crack fiend coming in here all stupid, trying to fight, ready to fight me.
Yeah.
Okay, it's no longer of like, what's the best way to defuse this? It's like self-defense mode. Let's go. I'm ready. Let's fucking run that.
Yeah.
Bro, I had to do that shit like twice with this same crack fiend. Anytime he saw me, anytime he would walk in, he'd be looking for me. And then I'd be ready too. I'd be like, well, I'm ready.
Let's go.
We're both ready. You coming in here and I'm telling you can't come in here.
Yeah.
So what? What's going to happen? Always you just talk his shit. And I'd be like, yeah, that's right. You're not going to do shit, so get the fuck out. And then like, so with these crack fiends, like you just never know.
Yeah.
It could be something that's quick. Like sometimes they'll come in blabbing shit and you're like, come on, Matt. You got to go. And they're just like blah, 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 blabbling bullshit on their way out. Yeah. And you're like, cool.
At least he's gone.
Motherfucker's out.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? And then there's other times when they come in ready to go, ready to fucking fire on somebody.
Fuck, dog.
You know? So
yeah, that's a scary part.
That's why I understand what you mean, like with not like knowing how to handle the situation. One, this is me who, like, I am supposedly the manager on duty, the person that's going to handle this situation that needs to take care of all these other clients that are there shopping.
Yeah.
Now, if you're just somebody that's there, just a shopper, just a regular person, or just like a customer taking a Greyhound, what are you supposed to do? Is it even in your line description to do something like that?
Probably not.
And what's really going on? How much abuse is going on to the circumstance? Yeah. The whole fucking smoking thing, like, bro, if the fucking bus driver or if the parent of the baby is not saying shit, then how are you going to say something? Yeah. You know, because if it's your kid and it's your baby, you're like, hey, you fucking dumbass. You're not supposed to be fucking smoking. You fucking, you know, like you're ready to go. It's like, it's my child. I'm ready to die for my child. But if the baby, if their parent's not even speaking up, what are you going to do? Yeah. And like, I feel like the fact that you even helped out that old lady is a lot more than anybody, even the fucking driver, was willing to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, don't feel like any type of way. It's just crazy that you were in this situation at all, bro.
It was wild, dog.
But we're at the 3 hour mark, so keep going.
So
halfway there.
We're already done.
Oh, like, so that was the last thing that happened.
When she said like, I'm gonna piss on this bus. We were in West Covina at this point. Oh, okay. Yeah, so not too far from here. But when we got to LA, the bus stopped, and all of a sudden she's in a good mood. She's like, yeah, I'm in LA, and I'm like, out of your fucking mind, woman. Like, I get it. You're on some shit. You're not there. But geez, bro, it was wild. So we get to LA. My dad picks us up. And so he takes us home.
Oh,
we're getting out of LA at like 7:30.
Did you go to work or you called off?
No, I called off.
Yeah.
I was like, I could have gone to work, but I'm like, I'm not showing up to work like this. I have to drive for a living at work. I'm gonna fall asleep at the wheel.
Yeah, you can't just be like,
So I told my manager once my flight got canceled the evening before. I'm like, hey, don't expect me to come in tomorrow.
In fact, I canceled.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I'm giving you a heads up right now.
That's cool.
Because I literally just found out 15 minutes ago that my flight is canceled. These are my options, and none of these options are going to get me to work.
That's cool.
On time.
Responsible.
So she's like, you know what? It's
someone
fine.
else will pick up a
Don't
shift.
worry about it.
With that much notice?
Yeah, you have to figure it out, bro. Like, I can't. And I'm the type of person that I always show up to work, maybe 5 minutes late, but I'm always there, and I never call off. You can count on me to be at least 5 minutes late.
This man uses his grace period. For sure.
Hey, like, it's cool. There's a buffer. So, but anyway, so we get to LA, we get home, and we knock out for like 5 hours. We get home at like 8. We wake up. No, actually, we wake up at like 12.
Yeah.
We get home at 8, fall asleep, wake up at 12. And so that was the trip.
Yeah.
And so let's go back to the Heard Museum.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So
forgot about that.
At this point, oh shit, we're at 42 minutes. God damn, just me rambling and shit. At this point, we go to the Heard Museum and it's the last day. And the Heard Museum specifically is about Native Americans. And so they have a lot of Native American like tools, artwork, artifacts, paintings. It's really beautiful and it's very informative. And there's this one particular part of the museum that I had no idea that this happened. Maybe you have. I'm sure a lot of people didn't know, probably still don't know. Mm-hmm. But not apparently, this is a fact. There were these things called Native American boarding schools.
Yeah.
Did you know about this?
I think so.
Okay. So I didn't know about this. Mm-hmm. So I get there and I go, what is this?
Well, are you talking about the American schools that were trying to turn people to American and American?
Yeah. So, but they did it obviously with Native Americans.
Yeah.
And so I didn't know about this.
Yeah,
and
bro.
So
shit is crazy.
We were going through the museum of that specific part, right? And we're looking at all these pictures, these descriptions. We were looking at reading quotes from the generals who were like, oh, these Native Americans are dirty, and so we need to Christianize them, Americanize them, because the way they live, they're savages and all this shit, right? And so I'm looking at it, and you see pictures of, little kids, before and after pictures. You see little kids in their indigenous clothing, and then you see them with like a shirt, a button-up shirt, a tie. And the one thing that really stuck to me, which is why I wanted to talk about identity, is there was this portion at the end where they had a seat, and it was a barbershop seat, and it was empty, right? And it was closed off in the glass, but there was writing on it and whatnot, right? But all you saw was this empty barbershop chair, and you saw like their long locks of hair on the floor.
Yeah. And
when I saw that, my fucking heart sank, because I'm like, if there's one thing I know about Native Americans, is that their hair is extremely precious to them. Yeah. It's a big deal. Like, it is part of their identity. And so here you see that these piece of shit fucking Americans are stripping them of their identity.
Yeah.
And it's like, why? They present no threat to you.
Yeah.
And so it was extremely heartbreaking. And I started to think about my identity.
Yeah.
And how, me and you and Larry and Germs, we obviously I wasn't born in this country, but I pretty much grew up here. Mm-hmm. So I started to reflect like, well, what identity do I have? What part of my culture do I still hang on to, and what part have I just left behind? Yeah. Because, I'm wearing fucking joggers.
Yeah.
It's very Americanized. I like basketball. It's very Americanized. And that's not to say that in other countries they don't like these things, but where is my attachment to my culture, to my Salvadorian roots? I don't know about my Salvadorian roots. And so it was very eye opening, but it was also very it was beautiful to see because even during the time that the kids spent in the boarding schools, like there were high schools that were still very Americanized, or that were trying to Americanize them. And there were a lot of Native Americans that went into like art classes and drama classes and theater, and they still they still try to incorporate some of their native fashion and just native practices into high school.
Yeah.
So like you could see that they were like, you know what, they're gonna kill me, or whatever. They're taking me away from my family, and they're forcing me to go to this school that I don't want to be in, but I'm not gonna let go of my culture. So they had like this beautiful dress, like I think it was like a prom dress or a graduation dress, but it was like they had their little like Native American touch to it.
Yeah.
And that was beautiful.
Yeah.
And so it's sad, dog. Like I know like it's a very tough topic to talk about because I know in America they don't like to talk about what they did to Native Americans, but it's a real thing.
Yeah, and it's something that's been going on that like Americans have been doing for years, bro. Like I took my first Chicano class ever.
Oh, those are heavy.
It was like that. We read Becoming Mexican American, and then we read City of Inmates. City of Inmates, that book, if you get a chance to read it, anybody.
Do you remember the author?
No. I think it's Kelly, maybe Kelly something, but
it's City of Inmates.
City of Inmates, and it just talks about how America has used like inmates to have free labor.
Yep.
Always has, especially like during the beginning times when they basically went through the manifest destiny and America said we have a calling to go to the West, and it's a God calling. It's a calling from God himself telling us to take over and come and fucking take whatever they wanted.
These people.
And that's what they did. They used laws to be able to do that. So if you were a Native American or indigenous person from that place, like here in Los Angeles, like, bro, there was tribes, like huge cities already from these native people that were here. Like, it's not like you're taking a small little town. It was like cities built like by these people that when they came, they started making laws on how to like coexist. Like, okay, well, we're basically taking this land, fighting for it. Mexico signs it over, I think, after when the war happened, right? Signs it over. And they fucking, bro, I think at the end, Mexico was so huge that I think it's like 75% of like Mexico was lost. Like,
oh, wow, really?
That's how much was like forced. So people say that America bought it, but they didn't buy it. They fucking forced their way in and said, okay, motherfuckers, we're here. This is our shit now.
What are you going to do about it?
Yep. No, okay, well, can you like pay us out at least? And they're like, well, think about that shit. All right, fine, let's pay it out. And then they fucking pay it, but they never paid back anything. No type of, So it basically got taken from them.
Yeah.
And they used those systems like incarceration, basically Native Americans or the indigenous people of that land of here in California. Well, it was a trip, is that? Like we're living in it. Like we're talking about Los Angeles.
This was indigenous land. Still is.
And that's what I feel like taking that class did for me was a realization of like what this is. Like everybody wants to move to Los Angeles and do this stuff, and then we're seeing it now even more, like more and more as it goes on. That's why gentrification is such a big topic and a big deal, and why people really hate gentrification, because it's a new form of what has always happened of taking something and pushing people out, pushing people away. And it comes into the identity, because now who are you? Because the people that decided to stay, those indigenous people that decided to stay, well, my parents and grandparents and grandparents and great-great-great-great-great-grandparents have lived in Los Angeles all their lives. We have land here. We had land here.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me you can either go to the borders of Mexico because we took over this, or you stay here. And if you stay here, you have to become Americanized.
Yeah.
And which is all that, the schooling, the laws, and all those things. And then now you get people who have to find identity because they're no longer considered from Mexico.
Yeah.
Right? Or they're no longer considered Mexicans or indigenous. They're either seen as
Mexican American or American.
And then like once you're born into that, and now that's just the people that were already living. Now what about the new people, the new generation that are birthed? Where is their identity? Where do they find it?
Yeah.
They're not they're not too American where the American community doesn't accept them.
Yeah.
They're not too Mexican where the Mexicans don't consider them Mexicans because they are on the other side.
Yeah.
And then you get this place of like, well, where do I land? And identity, bro, is crazy because I think about what you said. How much do we hang on to our culture?
Yeah.
Because technically speaking, you were born in El Salvador.
Yeah.
And I was born here.
Yeah.
But yet,
you can't tell.
Yeah, like I could have been born 1,000 miles where you were.
Yeah.
And then I would still be considered like Salvadorian. My blood, my family, like all of them are like from, Central America over there, right? But now we're here. And it's the geographical thing that makes me something. That's what always trips me out. Like, is it blood that we're talking about here? Like where your blood comes from? Or is it just geographics? Like, yeah, he was born 10 miles into this border. So basically he's this. Yet all my blood, all my family, all my culture comes from the other side of that border.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know who I feel like maybe not struggles, and I've never talked to him about it. I'd like to get to know how he identifies himself is Edson, my brother, because he's the only one of our family who was born here.
Yeah.
Because my sister, me, my mom, and my dad were all born in El Salvador, and Edson grew up here, but because my parents did so, and this is like I'm so proud that they did this. Like they still spoke to us like they would have spoken to us in El Salvador.
Yeah,
like puta bicho, hey, saca esa mierda, cerote. Like stuff like that. You would hear that. I grew up hearing that.
Yeah,
and so, like I wonder what his mindset is, like how he feels about being extremely American, because Edson is very much assimilated. Like
I feel so,
because he was born here.
Yeah,
but when he's around us, like
and not only was he born here, but he was born here at a later time than me. Because I feel like more people that are born later and whatnot. Because the way he describes, I went to Thomas Starr King Middle School, I went to John Marshall, and the way he describes those schools are like,
it's
what?
Different. Yeah, it's like, completely different.
What do you mean? Like, that's not the place where I was at.
It's completely different.
It's a whole different world.
Yeah.
And it's just a few years after,
It's around, for you, it's probably like 6 years apart.
Yeah.
It's not a long time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, that's a trip within itself. And I feel like this is where I kind of see some people where, you get some people that don't speak Spanish at all, right?
Yeah.
They're like, no, I look Mexican, but I don't speak fucking Spanish. Or
They're like almost like ashamed of it.
Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, well, I hear some people like get mad at them. Like, how could you be fucking, a Latino and not know how to speak Spanish?
Yeah.
And I get that. And then I also get them where it's like, well, where are they finding their identity? Because they're growing up in school where it's only English. Their parents might have been first generation, second generation already here who speak more predominantly English at home, right?
Yeah.
So then you have to ask yourself, is it worth keeping culture alive? What is it worth? Why would we want to keep culture alive? And the more I've like dove into those classes, the more I want to speak Spanish. So anytime I see someone, a Latino, like a señora, Hispanic, anything, whenever I was at work, I always interacted in Spanish. I always tried to push because I see them trying in English, which is great, but they don't need to try. Like I wanted to, and it always felt great to hear your tongue, to hear your language and be like, man, that's dope. Yes, we are here, but like this is our tongue that we speak. Like, and I also like wanted to do certain things to keep culture alive, which is why I have fucking masa in my kitchen, to make tortillas a mano every now and then. I'll try to do that, and they come out like shit still. but
you're trying, dog. Yeah, and that's the important
thing. I buy
thing.
like red beans from El Salvador or whatever, just to like try to keep things like that alive.
Yeah,
because it is who you are, like in a sense. And
what I don't like is that oftentimes America is not oftentimes it's extremely portrayed as a place of it's a melting pot. We have all these beautiful cultures and we can all exist here and we all can coexist together. Your neighbor can be black, your next neighbor can be Indian, and the person across from you can be Asian American. You can all get along and it's great and it's fine. But like there's so much Americanized culture that's inflicted into us. And when we don't accept it, we're judged for it, and we're looked at a certain way.
If you don't fucking like it here, then why don't you just go back?
Go back to your country.
Go back to your fucking country.
And I'm like, hold on. America is, you're not native to this country either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so what are you, where are you going to, if I'm going to go back, you're going to go take your ass back to Europe or Russia or wherever the fuck you came from. That's your ancestors came from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And bro, like if you look into one of those books, I don't know if it's Becoming Mexican American or the City of Inmates, but they talk about how Mexico, like Mexico City, all those indigenous people were hit from years ago. We're talking about, I forgot who was one of the great like
Alexander
sailors.
the Great,
probably like someone that I don't know who it is, but it's
some European asshole.
Yeah, it was like, so one of them had already gone like twice. There was these voyages that they would go on.
Mm-hmm.
So the indigenous people had already, or the Native Americans, indigenous people had already seen like Europeans or Spaniards. I think it was someone from
the
Spain.
Spaniards, probably most likely.
And like they're coming. This is where like even Christianity sometimes is a bit conflicting because they come with missions of
missionaries.
Yeah, exactly.
And you got to convert them because you're living a life that is not congruent with Jesus.
The craziest thing that I heard, or that you read, is that they sent missionaries to set up a church or whatever and force these people into like, well, it's God or nothing.
Yeah.
Like, and you have basically an army backing this up.
Yeah.
And then they were saying that one of them wrote a letter to Spain saying, send some more Spaniards over here because the soldiers need sex. And like they can't be fucking raping these like indigenous people. And that's what they were doing. Like missionaries set up a church, forcing people there. And then you have the army who is fucking raping and pillaging, like, and doing whatever they want.
Wow.
Yep. And
I knew that they were like raping and pillaging, but I didn't know that they sent over
they wanted
more people, or they wanted to just for the sake of them not be like,
to not stop,
have sex with them.
Stop raping.
Oh my
Like, this is how we're gonna fix it. We're gonna ask for Spaniards to come and them have homes and make families here and take over, just so this could stop. And it's like these things are happening back, like from back, bro. Like, and that's where like there's some conflicts that even Christians don't want to hear about. People that like God and like have that faith don't want to know about those things or are blind to it. And I feel like it's helped me a lot because I don't want to be someone who's uninformed about something like, do you even know how this started?
Yeah.
And the origins of it. The origins of this. Because if you do, then you kind of have like to take a deep look at it and really make some choices and decide what's going on. How do you feel? What do you come of the conclusion of it?
Yeah.
And there was this interview that one of our teachers showed us about somebody who's like Mexican American and like trying to figure out like they were talking about the whole war and what happened and how can we move forward?
Yeah.
How do we move forward as Americans, knowing that like, hey, you guys basically bullied your way into Mexico and took 75% of them, and not only that, Mexico was forced to sell property within Mexico to America. So there's a lot of these companies that own a lot of it. Bro, it got to the point where Mexico sold off so much land that they couldn't even feed their people anymore.
Oh, wow.
Because that's how much land America bought within here. And they had companies here working for them in Mexico that they couldn't. So maize was their main thing that they had.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where they had no more land to sustain. So they had to, I think they started buying it from like Brazil or no, I don't know if it's Brazil but they get it imported now.
Yeah.
It got imported now from how much like this like thing of like, oh, this is something that's going to be great for Mexico because you guys are going to be getting so much money. There's going to be so much work. Let us buy land here. And you guys are going to be reaping the profit. Your people are going to have, but you took so much land. And bro, these companies are still alive today.
Yeah.
I think one of them is like Chase Morgan.
The bank.
They own, because they started railroads. And the whole railroad industry thing is a whole nother thing.
Yeah, that's a different
where
monster.
There were people, it goes into like where you have recruiters going into Mexico trying to hire people to come work in America for the railroads and all these things. And then you got people in America that don't want these people here.
Yeah.
But yet you create this system where you want cheap labor, and who's going to do it? Your neighbors, who you fucking forced to sell you all your land, to continue to have cheap labor. The indigenous people that were only being like they couldn't make money, so they would they would have to.
They had to train them.
They had to train them and like sell them. Like it was like alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
So they would put them onto alcohol, and that's how they would pay them. You worked, and then these indigenous people would get like alcohol. They would get drunk as fuck, and then at a certain time on Sundays or a certain time of the day, policemen would come and pick all these drunk people out in public, incarcerate them, and then once they're incarcerated, they would have to work for free. So you develop systems that like basically give America free labor, and they're doing like there was laws that were passed that said, yeah, if this happens, like this is what's gonna go down. We'll get free labor. So she was saying that like sometimes it's just the acceptance that like America needs to just like recognize and accept that it happened.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that other thing where it's like, why you want to bring up like from the past? We're talking about 2021.
Or people complain
what's
that
happening
why are
now?
you bringing up the race card?
Yeah, like
why
are you talking about that, or why do you feel that way? Why does everything always have to be great? Yeah, exactly.
Like I'm not racist, like my grandparents were, and I'm like, yeah, that's fine. But I think at a certain point, you have an obligation as somebody who is aware of the wrongs that your grandparents and your ancestors made to make something right, to make it right. And I just feel like people don't do that, and they just get offended because they feel like we're personally attacking them. And it's not so much that we're confronting them personally. We're confronting their lineage, because their lineage, you are still a part of something that was extremely terrible. And if you know that it's bad, you kind of have to ask yourself, like, what can I do to make it better? You have to be part of the solution, especially if you're a white person, bro, because white people have an extraordinary amount of power. Like I know like during the elections, they always look ahead and go, well, in 2040, Latinos will be the majority in terms of numbers. And it's like, that's great. We have power in terms of numbers, but how many of those people can actually get into positions of power in Congress, at your local city council, on the school board? How many of them are able to actually go and get into these positions and make a difference? To me, even if we have a large amount of people in this country, that I don't consider that a majority.
Yeah.
Because we're still a minority in a sense of our power, our voice, in terms of how people perceive us, the care
that they get. So there's a majority of like Hispanics, blacks, like
Asians,
right? Like, so, okay, we're here, but what kind of care do they receive? Well, we don't. There's not much care.
Nope.
And that's where like, there's these big, huge topics about like, well, what's the budget? How does the budget look? And then you look at like police, the police budget, and then you see like that there's not enough budget for the community, like schools, chairs, like even Marshall like experienced that shit when we were there. Like I remember there was at one point where there was like 40, 50 students per class. I was already falling behind for sure.
Really?
I was already behind. I was like, I knew I wasn't gonna pass. But when that started happening, I was like, bruh, there's like people are standing in this fucking class.
There's like no chairs.
And you expect me to fucking do homework or listen to your fucking ass like while you're trying to teach?
Yeah.
I have no place to sit, motherfucker.
I can't even write anywhere.
I'm gonna go to the fucking basketball field.
I'll catch
the basketball
later.
field. I will go to the court. Go pick up some games and see what's going on over there. Like, so that was my thing. But that's where those topics are big and huge, because you see all this money that they're spending with police, and like people are like, no, we need to have the police enforced, and like we need to have these things. But then you see like how much help those communities are getting, like how much help is the Hispanic community getting, the Latino community, Asian Americans,
what kind of social services are being provided to these people who really need it.
And then even the social service that is provided to them, how much help is that really doing? Is it just to say, oh, we have people in the community doing it? Like, are you just using it for the agenda to say, no, we're doing something about it, but are they really doing stuff about it?
Yeah.
And those are hard conversations to have. We should definitely think about getting people that are plugged into those things to inform more. Yeah. But it's something to think about, I feel, with anybody, because I feel we are a melting pot, right? We're a melting pot here. There's a lot of different people. But there was this one point that you were saying that like we are the majority, but how many do we see in Congress? How many do we see in these things?
Representation.
Yeah. And the thing is that like recently what happened was like, I forgot which one we posted it on the Necked Out podcast, but there was this college that was receiving a lot more.
Oh, Latinos. I think it was USC.
Okay. So here's the thing with colleges. you can have a lot of more Latinos, Asians, African Americans, whoever, like going to college, but how many finish?
Yeah.
It's not about attending and trying. How many finish? And what determines someone that finishes? Well, we already know how expensive it is to live out here in fucking Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's one. Talk about just like survival. Like one of the things
just living out here.
Yeah, like you can no longer have a full-time job and live here. Like you need more than a full-time job to be able to pay rent or have shelter. So how are these people gonna finish now having to pay for school, books? Oh, they could apply for financial aid. Okay, that's fine. That's perfect. Financial aid. Well, what does financial aid cover? And then also, what do they have to do to survive their day-to-day means? Does that mean that they have to have another job, 2 other jobs part-time on top of school to try to do that? Where these American people that are successful already, don't have to. You hear stories, bro, where I used to work, these teenagers are coming in with Amex cards to buy whatever they want. They have like 3 credit cards on them already. They're like fucking like 14-year-olds, bro. Jesus. 12-year-olds. And like, it's fun. It's cool to see their community because you see the community of like these 14-year-olds on the cusp of high school, in a private school, and in their wallet having an Amex credit card that could buy them any type of school supply that they want, food, all these different type of means. So you have people living in Los Angeles and in America with completely different stories. One high schooler versus another one could be experiencing 2 different things. And we want equality. We want to say, oh, that's equal. Well, how is it equal?
Yeah.
When you have these things, like there's still a massive ladder. There's the opportunity for sure. The opportunity is there. You want to advance in life, the opportunity is there for you. But you have to climb the mountain, the ladders. You have to climb all these mountains that we're going to put in front of you, as opposed to somebody else with lighter skin, somebody else that's been here for longer with other means, other resources, healthier habits, healthier care. It's a straight line. Yeah. Like literally, if you have that, all you have to do is go and walk through it. Like just walk through it. Yeah. But if you're not that skin color, if you haven't been here for years, then get ready to climb the mountains of shit that's going to be put in front of you to be able to even have a
chance.
And not only that, what is the goal? So what happens when you do graduate? Well, now you break out of the full-time minimum job wage and all that stuff. So now you're able to afford a home.
Yeah.
Now you're able to talk about, these are means. These are like necessities. Talking about, you could be a homeowner, choose to buy healthier food options, have health care. Like, we're not talking about lavish living here. We're talking about basic necessities that, like, you have to run and go through these mountains to be able to have basic needs met. And if you're smart and good with your money and you invest your money, you could probably open up a window of opportunities for you, right? And you could talk about luxury and all those other things. But it's completely different, bro. And it all, like, this conversation stems from identity. So what does that mean to you? Like,
it honestly, to me, it starts with small steps, because I also don't think that people should feel guilted into completely transforming their life into being like, you know what, I'm just gonna fucking wear my chanclas all the time and talk Spanish all the time. No, like, I also don't want people to feel like, and then this is gonna sound kind of weird, but I love America for the people that are here, because I've met so many dope people from different cultures that I probably wouldn't experience back home. And that doesn't mean that I don't appreciate my country of origin, but I was raised here and I connected with people of different races, different skin colors. And I think that's a beautiful part of America. The ugly part is all the politics, all the semantics that go on in the background, all the guilt, all the obstacles and hurdles that are just there to make white people feel better, or to downplay what you can achieve in this fucking life as a brown person. So I think identity is more like take small steps into being like, well, you know what, instead of going to Starbucks, I'm going to hit up a local taco spot. Or, you know, instead of buying a shirt from this place, I'm going to go to Los fucking, I don't know, Los Callejones or some shit, you know? But I think it's just small steps and just being, and I think educating yourself too, like, well, where am I from? You know, who are my ancestors? What? Because everybody is, you know, most of Central America at some point, I think, well, I would say a large part of Central America was like Aztecs, the Mayans, like these ancient, like people who have so much rich history and culture that we don't really know about. Like I was actually thinking about, and I don't know if this is how accurate this is, but I was thinking about getting like the ancestry shit, like, or the 23andMe or whatever the fuck that tells you,
Yeah.
like where most of your family is from or whatever the fuck. I'm sure it's from Central America, but like, do I have indigenous blood in me? I probably do.
Yeah.
So like these are all things that you kind of have to take it upon yourself to educate yourself and find out more about who your ancestors really are, where your lineage comes from. And then moving forward, like, okay, well, I know that I am, for example, right? Okay, Heldon is a 50% from the continent of Africa, from Zimbabwe or whatever the fuck, right? Okay, cool. So now I know this. So now I know that in my blood there is a direct relationship to that continent. So what can I do to preserve some of that identity? Well, I go and do this. I can buy from these people.
Yeah.
So essentially, I think that's like a good starting point.
Yeah, and I feel like this girl that I'm dating said something to me that was pretty amazing. That put me on. I gotta give her a shout out, because she's the one that told me this, and it blew my mind because it was like, okay, some people don't understand this perspective. You grew up basically my neighbor.
Yeah.
You know how it is to live in Silver Lake, and then also what happened when gentrification was like really happening.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I always relate to the simplest of like the stop sign because I grew up there my whole fucking life, and every time as a little kid trying to get to Dayton Heights, I was like, God damn, I'm about to get hit by one of these fucking cars one day, bro. As soon as the right skin tone moves into the neighborhood, stop signs were there. Exactly where
Speed bumps are there.
Speed bumps are there. Yeah. Stop signs are there. Exactly where they needed to be.
Or the street all the potholes are filled.
Bro, so I take it down to that basic.
Yeah.
Walking down Hoover, you would see La Doña's barbershop or like little salon. You would see somebody's like little business here.
Or El Yucateco.
You would see these things. And then when the gentrification started happening, they started to close down.
Yeah.
And what happens then? Everything goes up. More people come in, moving from wherever with all this money, trying to gentrify the place. And then they start a new business, if not the same business.
Yeah.
So the lady that used to have a salon right there on Hoover closed down.
Mm-hmm.
And, it was always dope going to see her. She would cut my hair as a little kid or whatever.
Yeah.
And then now you have another barbershop there, but it's a barbershop. Yeah. Right? And it's gentrified. It's like new, all these things. But it was the same thing. It was the same type of business, yet it just changed. Like something's there. So then she was saying how like some people like are like trying to, I guess, connect with these businesses. So she was saying how she ordered something from like one of these like Instagram things that she was like ordering like a dog cake, for example. I don't really know what it was.
Yeah.
But this new girl was basically running a little bakery from an existing, like her grandma's existing business.
Mm-hmm.
So she wasn't taking over her grandma's business. She was just like on the weekend, she like uses her kitchen like in that like whatever, if it was a restaurant or a sewing place, whatever her business is, she's not taking away from her business. If anything, she's probably shooting her some cash and saying like, hey, can I use this space just to make my orders?
Yeah, just rent it out.
And now you're not taking over somebody's and ruining somebody's like form of income and completely destroying their lives.
Yeah.
Now you're joining with somebody. And if anything, if done right, could probably bring whoever goes pick up there. I was like, oh, I didn't know this spot was here too. Like, it's cool. You're working here. And then like you're bringing identity to this spot. It's being more put out there because your business is there. And it's about like that unity as opposed to taking over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but and honestly, that's great. I would argue this though, is I feel like there's almost like there's a very fine line though between like if like let's say right, the person keeps bringing in more attention to that spot, right? Yeah. So you're not taking over their business, but you have a lot more, let's say, hipsters, white people coming in there, right?
Yeah.
Well, now you have the attention. Maybe you have the attention of like investors or people that are like, hey, we're looking to expand. I like it here. I like the area here. There's already a lot of people coming here and hanging out. Let's buy it out. Type
like
of thing.
from investors,
like so. And then this is me just being, this is me just thinking like extreme, like, and I'm sure maybe it does happen, but there's a very fine line between like getting involved in, and maybe that person doesn't do it with the intention to take over or introduce other investors to come and take over her spot, but it's like it can be like an indirect consequence of what she does.
And if you are aware of those things, of gentrification, of those things, then I feel like you might do a better job to make sure that those things don't happen. Yeah. Where it's like, well, you can't, it's not you taking over, you're taking over somebody's whole family line of living, of their only source of income in a place and in a space and a world where these people already cannot survive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This old person is not going to survive. This old family member is not going to survive when in a place, in a city where you could have a full-time job and still not afford housing.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy.
Yeah.
You nowhere. You cannot find it. I think I don't know if it's America or if it's in Los Angeles or if it's in California, but I remember I read that it was like you can no longer have a 40-hour a week minimum wage job.
That's probably in America.
Like
I wouldn't be surprised.
You cannot and you can't be housed. So you could have a full-time job.
Actually, it might be in Los Angeles. Actually,
like I'm clocking in for sure. It's in Los Angeles, bro. You cannot have a full-time job minimum wage. Bruh, you can't.
Yeah, it's impossible.
You fucking cannot, bro.
Yeah,
and you're just talking about trying to find shelter. I was just trying to find shelter, bro.
Yeah.
Not even trying to have health care.
I'm not trying to save money. I'm just trying to live.
Exactly.
Bro.
And create a cushion, an emergency fund, and all these things. That's why when like things like the pandemic happened or like big things in life happen, like, well, why didn't these people save money?
Yeah.
What why weren't they, what money if all they're using all these jobs that they have is only to fucking survive?
Yeah.
Two minimum wage full-time jobs, and all they're doing is have no life because they're working 80 hours a week.
And there's no room for advancement.
Yeah, like they're literally just like they're working those two jobs to be able to one, like have shelter, have food, and like maybe like pay for their car insurance and all those things to get them to job. But then when they get home, it's literally like to rest, because what kind of quality of life is that person having?
Yeah.
Because now you get someone who works a 30 to 35 hour job and is making $100 grand a year.
Yeah.
As compared to somebody that's working a full-time minimum job, nowhere near the same life, bro.
A fraction of that.
Nowhere near the same
life. Not even a quarter.
Nowhere near the same energy. Nowhere near the same type of home, like health and all these things. And like, it gives this conversation of identity gives a lot to think about because number one, like you're saying, you don't want people to run back to their chanclas and like pupusas all the time.
Yeah.
But it does like us who have opportunities to go to school or opportunities to know about real estate. Cause I know somebody who's working at my old job, another manager there, and owns properties.
Yeah.
And works
plural, not
and
singular.
works at a retail store.
Yeah,
works at a retail store. Not even a manager. Not even on a GM's pay. You know what I'm saying? And a GM's pay is good. If you're a GM at a fucking store, okay, it's okay. You're definitely above everybody else. You probably do you have a little more options. But this guy isn't even that, and he has properties. He got into the real estate business and was smart with his money. And he was telling me how he has a huge home. It's just him and his wife right now. Mm-hmm. His kids left. They're doing his thing. He has this huge, massive home, and then he has other properties that help him afford that home. So he bought all these properties, started renting them out, and his rent is $1,200, which is less than what you would find for a studio in Los Angeles.
That's a studio.
And he has a fucking huge home with him and his wife because all the other properties are helping him pay for that. So his monthly expense is $1,200. Now it's smart. So you could still not be an you could not go to school, not go to college, and still know how to manage your money, still know how much power your money has. And I feel like understanding these things is makes you think, okay, well, where am I shopping? Where am I putting this money at?
Yeah.
Am I gonna go support this huge corporation that no matter what is exploiting and doing all these things to just benefit the shareholders and the board of directors and all these things, or am I going to invest to that new spot?
Yeah.
that black owned business, that Latino owned business. Like, where am I going to put my money?
Yeah.
Like, yes, they are selling this product. And then also us, we have to think about, oof, it is 50 cents more. Oh, it is $1 more, right? Oh, it's $1 more. But then when you think about corporations that have been alive for years and years and years and years that sell these products, their downline is completely different. Bro, something like working in like retail, you see how like these companies are willing to take losses on certain products because that product, like they'll take a major loss, like they'll sell shit at like the most ridiculous, cheapest price, which makes no sense.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense in the long run because they're going to sell you a service when you walk in there. You may have walked in for this certain product that was like $1, but then everything else, the opportunity of everything else where they're going to make a huge profit is there. So they have great marketing, great things to like set up the store where you're going to go in for one thing, but come out with something else.
Yeah.
And if they get 1,000 people to do that, or let's say 10,000 people to just do that one thing, they have brought in 10,000 times, let's say another $1. That's $10,000 they brought in within that month just for offering this little thing.
Yeah. Some dumb shit.
Some dumb little fucking thing, you know, at the cheapest price. Where if you're starting a new business, you don't have those things. You can't do those things. So you also have to think like, yes, it is a little bit expensive, but it's going to the community. Where it's like someone who's like living in the community, Latino or Latina or Latinx or
Hispanic, whatever,
or Black, Asian, like, you know, okay, it's helping the community. That's why like it's good to also like go to your instead of going to these corporations, shop at your community stores, go to the community restaurants, what's around your neighborhood, learn what businesses are around your neighborhood, like who owns them, and like see where you're gonna spend your money at. So those are great ways to like give back to the community. It's not only like, oh, I volunteer at this spot. No, you could just understand how your money works and where you're putting it into.
Definitely. Yeah, bro. The whole identity thing was really interesting just because, you know, I think especially, you know, Native Americans, indigenous people, they are closely tied to their identity, which is their culture, their traditions.
And they're tied into their land.
And their land.
And their land is so like, that's what was
everything,
bro. And like they understood this like whole concept of like land and them intertwined with each other, connectivity with like their neighbors, their land, the environment, not overusing it, but like being a part of, like they understood that concept. And what was the thing that got taken?
That was it.
Their land.
In the museum, there was this. They were showing this video of this lady, this older lady, who she was like, "Yeah, I grew. You know, when I was growing up, you know, we can go out and just literally pick fruit off the floor and eat it, and it was good for us because we knew it was from the earth's soil."
Yeah.
And then when the government came and took over all our fields, we couldn't eat that fruit anymore because why? They put all these chemicals, all these pesticides, all these GMOs, and now that's not our food anymore. And now we have to go find a different way, different means of getting food, making income to buy unfortunately the food that now they are selling us, which was initially our food to begin with.
That's
so
crazy.
they're very in tune with the earth. They know about all these, you know, extremely spiritually cleansing traditions, and they're just extremely tied to their spirituality. And so to me, it was just fascinating, bro, to see that. And I don't mean fascinating as in like, oh, this is cool. It's fascinating as in like, this is extremely eye opening, and it's something that I think we don't really talk about. I know that there are, you know, a lot of people who are aware of these things and do what they can, but I feel like we can all do better. You know, if you're not already looking into your ancestors, like talk to your parents, like, hey, what does this mean? You know, what did you guys used to do for this? And during these times, and 9 times out of 10, they'll tell you. And even parents, like it goes to the same thing. Like our parents, when they come here, they lose 99% of their identity because they have to come here, and they're the ones that are like breaking ground here to be like, I'm setting up new shop here in America. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but if I got to speak English to these white motherfuckers that can't understand what the fuck I'm saying, That's what I got to do
Yeah.
for these little fuckers, for the
For
new
the family,
generation that's gonna come, you know. And
yeah.
one more thing, and then I feel like it's our responsibility, if you're gonna have kids, you know, talk to them in Spanish. Teach them about, you know, yes, America is a certain way and there are great people here, but teach them about your own experiences, where you grew up, because that way they'll have an appreciation for it and they'll probably be more likely to keep that going. There was this one statistic that I heard, and then I'll let you go. They were saying that people like Latinos, the whole Latinos for Trump thing, there was an explanation behind it, because they found that people who came to this country, right? Like say Mexican, right? They came to this country, or well, they were in this country. They had kids. They assimilated into American culture. So every time a new generation was born, they were detached further and further away from their culture. So that's why you see a lot of Latinos that talk the way they talk. There are a lot of Latinos that are racist against their own people, that don't want immigrants here.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're so far away from their actual identity and culture that they've lost. Every generation they lose a little bit of it. They lose and they let go, and they shed it off for them. And then by the time 2020 is here, they have completely lost. It's not in their DNA anymore.
Yeah. And it's also like it also comes to the fact that like there's like how much of this is like being spoken of in school, like the reality of history, like, you know, not just like we're talking about.
I mean, you didn't find out till you went to college.
Yeah, I didn't find out till then, and like I'm sure there was probably a Chicano class, but like I was always like, what? Yeah, what is that?
Yeah,
I don't know what that is. Like, why am I gonna take that? I'm also like not Mexican, but like, so why am I gonna take a class? But then it's not like, it's the fact that you learn some truth, and it's cool because this professor, he was like really dope. He's a dope professor. He's like really like blunt, really like out there, amazing. I enjoyed his class so much. It was just eye opening to this whole thing. But what I think I didn't learn it till like now, but I'm glad I did. Like, I'm glad I just have that knowledge now of it. And I'm sure there's other things that I don't know, more severe things that probably happen. But I understand how the whole detachment thing works. The next generation, especially like when those schools aren't teaching it. And then also like, would the parents even have time to teach that to their kids when they're trying, again, work 80 hours a week to provide for their family? When do they have time to sit down and say, hey, you know what, this is what they're teaching you in school, it's all great, but let me show you what read these books, read these type of books, read these things. And then I think it's also parents' job to do that, to steer your kids into like, hey, the schooling system here, this is what it is, but here are some books that I've read that like will really blow your mind and like help you understand like some truths that they're not fully giving to you in school and not telling you. And it's great to be informed, great to know these things. It definitely helps you question, what else don't we know? What else don't we know? What else do we have a Americanized view of when we look at, instead of the perspective of someone who grew up in it, lived it, and you know the origin of it yourself? Because America sells the manifest destiny as it was a God-given thing.
It was supposed to happen.
It was supposed to happen. It was God-given. And just like some people excuse like this whole Trump thing, like it was a God-given thing. It's a God-given thing. Trump was supposed to come. All these things. So again, it lets you stop seeing things from just like the American view and also like a more broader, different lens. And I think that's what we need to do. Sometimes you need to see things from a different lens and see their perspective on it. If not to be convinced, but to be informed. You know?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%, man. So that trip, that specific experience in that museum was extremely important.
That's dope.
And it was beautiful, man. And I encourage anybody who is in the Phoenix area, please go to the Heard Museum, HEARD, and just learn, especially, you know, brown people, because we, you know, I can't say without a doubt. I mean, I can't say for a fact that we have experienced the kind of, you know, challenges that indigenous people have. Probably not, but we still experience them, you know, and it's good to look at the example of what happened to the indigenous people and how they try to keep so much of their identity, and how we are so quick to let go of it as assimilated, citizens.
And I feel like we have gotten smarter now where they're doing it to us in a different form.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's on your phone. Like think of like if you just think of like remember you were telling me about that one data show that you were telling me about social media. That was a trip that I needed to see.
The Social Dilemma.
The Social Dilemma. Yeah. Like things are happening now a lot subtly without you even noticing. Like the fact that if like Instagram is giving you all these ads, YouTube is giving you all these ads from conversations that we've had, like without you needing to, like sometimes I get ads, like I thought of something and I'll get the ad on Amazon of like exactly what I was just talking about. Like you motherfuckers.
They're on it, bro.
You motherfuckers. You guys are on. You got that AI shit, that fucking all that shit is smart enough. And we have to be smart enough to understand those things and understand the reality of things and question, well, why do I believe this? Why do I only see things this way? Why am I pro this? Why am I not pro that?
Yeah.
Like, and
it's a lot, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot to be informed on, one bite at a time, but definitely identity. If you know you have some origin, whatever your background is from generations ago, I think it's always a good thing to look back, see what it was, remember, give the respect of what it is for the people that came and brought you here, and always like try. I mean, as far as me, I try to keep that alive. Like I want to make sure to like before my mom passes, or get all the recipes that I can, just so I know what to cook every now and then, or I know what to do.
Yeah.
I would have loved so bad to like have my grandfathers and ask them their fucking like, yo, what was this? How do you think? And then what do you think about your masculinity now?
Yeah.
That now that things have changed and now that I'm here and I'm telling you that I don't view things the way you view things. How does that like, what do you think of that? Like, I won't ever have that opportunity, but if you have those grandparents there, take advantage and find those stories.
Get as much as you can out of them for sure. Well, I think we could wrap it, Doc. It was a good conversation, man. This was as soon as I went to that museum and I got out, I was like, this is something that I have to talk about on the podcast.
Yeah.
So it was dope, man. I really enjoyed the trip. It was fun. It was hot as fuck. Not gonna lie, but it was still cool. It was good being outside of LA, for an extended period of time because you just get to see new things.
Yeah.
So, but where's that outro music though? Because I think we're ready to go. Everyone has been educated.
Damn.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Well, my name is. Why isn't this shit playing, dog? Hold on. That's. No, hombre. We'll just do a raw, bro. I'll put it in post. I'll do it in post. It's fine.
Let's
all right, y'all. Well, my name is Usica.
It's your boy Beast.
Thank you for listening to the Necked Out Podcast. We'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace out, y'all.